Hi, so you've received your mini Magnum coffee machine from the Flying Coffee Company. This one's just straight out of the box, and we're just going to run through how to put it together if you're doing it yourself. First of all, there'll be a bit of tape on here. We've just taken it off actually, that holds the cable on, so cable off. And then inside the drip tray here you'll find there's a set of 4 feet and keys for unlocking the cabinet up here, so they fit in there. Inside there you'll see you've got the 3 containers for making for putting the different ingredients in for making the drinks, and between these containers here we have a menu card which is supplied with the machine. It actually folds up so that it'll actually stand up and you can put it on the machine or wherever you like. As well as that, we've got instruction leaflet as well, but we'll go through all that in a second anyway. So for now, we need to get the machine ready to connect to the water supply. What I like to do here is we just use a bit of the packaging that the machine came in. I always find this easier if you actually get hold of the machine. Just lay it on its back for now. Then you can easily insert the adjustable legs. So we'll screw those halfway in for now, and then we can adjust them to suit the bench when we put it on the bench. Now to connect the water, you've got the water connection here. Just a matter of interest, that is a fan there. That's an extraction fan. It actually sucks steam and powder away from the mixing bowls. But you'll see that later on when we come to filling the machine. So here we can either use push fit fittings, which we've got here. That's a push fit fitting, goes on there and is using 3/8 pipe which will push fit into there, and that fitting then goes onto the connector here. Again, another reason for laying the machine on its back is it's a lot easier to do this without trying to tip the machine over and balance it. So we're going to do that up tight and just leave that pipe pointing backwards. You can also use a standard sort of washing machine type hose. Make sure you've got a white one though, because that's the food grade. The blue ones are not food grade, but you could use that system as well to connect to the water. And these just run off to the water and connect to a normal washing machine type tap. Bear in mind though that if you live in a hard water area you will need a calcium treatment unit to actually take the hardness out of the water, and we've got a separate video about how to fit one of those in line with a coffee machine. So that's that bit. We'll just connect a water supply we've got here to it, so the water supply just pushes in there like that. So that's the machine ready. We just need to turn the water on, which we have done, and then we just need to connect the power. There's no actual on-off switch on the coffee machine, so it's actually switched from the socket on the wall. The machine's coming on now. It's got no water in it, so first thing it does is fill. See, it doesn't take very long, and now the machine's gone to heating mode, and there's nothing more we can do for a minute until it actually finishes heating. So while your machine is in heat mode, we can actually take these containers out and fill them up with the dried ingredients that they need. They just lift up and the canisters pull out. It's easier to take the middle one out first and then the ones either side, and again when you put them back, either side first, then the middle one is easiest. If you look inside, we're just putting ingredients in there. There's a drive at the bottom which pushes the ingredient out, and the big wheel turning around in the middle is designed just to keep all the ingredients mixed up a bit so they don't cake up. Once filled up, we can relocate this container. I should say, when you're filling it, point that spout upwards so that the ingredients don't fall out of the end. And when we put it back in, if you look at the back of the machine, there's a little spline at the back there, and that's the drive wheel that makes the auger go around to push the ingredients out, and that locates in this drive at the back here. When you're putting it in, if you find you can't push that into the drive, just rotate it a little bit, just so that these splines here aren't clashing. That's usually the problem if you can't push it in easily. And on the front here, you'll see there's a little spigot there that sticks down. That also locates in the little hole just there in the base plate. So once you've filled it up, slide it right back, locate it at the back and the front, and then turn your spout down so that the ingredient can fall into the mixing bowl. Once you have loaded the ingredients into these, it's important just to flush the machine through once. The reason for doing that is that some ingredients will fall into here, and if they're left, they will dry and go hard in the actual whipping bowl. So if you just flush it through, it just keeps everything nice and clean. So okay, the machine has come up to temperature now, and you can see the display has changed to all the different drinks you can make. You've got a choice of 8 drinks on here, so you've got cappuccino, cafe latte, white coffee, black coffee, chocolate, chocomilk, mocha and espresso. And we've got 2 buttons down the bottom here of hot water. That's a measured dose of hot water. And you've got the top up button, that just gives you a top up of hot water for as long as you hold it down. And a couple more just at the top here, so you can select strong. So if you're having a white coffee, for example, that'll put extra coffee in, or large, you can program that to fit a larger cup if you want a large, 2 sized cups. On the inside of the machine here we have a red button. You can press it 4 times. If we press it once, it'll actually flush the machine. First of all, you need a container underneath the outlets. We press it once. The clicking noises you heard there were all the water valves vibrating. They do that, so if they've got any bits of scale building up on the valve, the idea is to knock the scale off. So that's why they make that vibrating and buzzing noise. If I press that button twice, it goes into standby mode. In other words, it disables the front screen, so you can clean the front screen and none of the buttons are operative. It'll just sit there in standby mode. If I press it again, it goes back to normal. If I press it 3 times, I get into the audit system. 1, 2, 3, and it comes up with audit down here. This is a brand new machine, so it hasn't actually made any drinks. And you can exit that from this red button here, and it's gone back to normal again. If I press it 4 times, it'll actually go into program mode. There you can set the temperature of the boiler, and you can set the program the drinks, so you can make them larger or smaller. And if you are playing around with this and ever want to go back to where it was set originally, you just press this button, it will load the defaults back again. And again, the button down the bottom will exit from there. So if you pop into program drinks, you can then select which drink you want to program. For example, you can select a white coffee. There you can increase the coffee. So if I select coffee, you can move it up or down. And what we're doing there is changing the display down the bottom here. So it's telling you how many grams of coffee you're going to put in that drink. If I change it to the whitener, you can see it's set on 2.3 grams. And again, I can move that up or back down. And the water content as well. So we change the water, it'll tell you how many mils of water you're using. Now if you do adjust these, it's important just to test the drink. So if you press the test button anytime, you can actually make the drink without leaving program mode. The only important thing to note is that when you're making the drinks, if you increase the whitener or the coffee too much, it is possible to have whitener or coffee or chocolate going in there after the water's finished. You don't want that, otherwise the dry ingredients will build up inside the whippers. You need to make sure that whatever you do, the dispensing of ingredients has finished before the water stops swirling around, and you can do that just by looking in the machine. And that's it. Your machine is ready to run.